I summon thee, Prince of Darkness, by the power of the pact we sealed, one sweet and faithful night.
He's our most frightening symbol of evil, the Tempter, the Soul Snatcher, who goes by many names.
Satan, Lucifer, Belial, Leviathan.
Tonight is a full moon, and Friday the 13th, an auspicious night for Satanists who are into dark magic and the ancient practice of calling the devil to earth. I'm meeting with a man who calls himself High Priest of the First Church of Satan. Thanks to the internet, he is a shadowy mentor for the thousands of kids he communicates with online.
See, I worship devil shit to keep the demons in my head. Close my eyes and now I'm sweating, tossing, turning in my bed. Can't get homicide, demons fly as I increase my high. Satan now I purge, but just in shadow, and since time to ride. Slowly rub my eyes to clear my head, cause I'm not seeing straight. Lucifer repeats, it's how.
Hello my friends, Auntie here. I really shouldn't be spending any time doing this. I really have a lot of other things to do, but I think this would be beneficial because I'm just really tired of people not understanding what's right in front of their eyes, and I feel like there's kind of like this giant gaslighting campaign concerning music, and specifically certain parts of more underground music. And it's just really frustrating. So I would like to just make a brief video, a quick video, which is a follow-up of a post that I wrote on Substack for Substack, and it concerns what are Swans lyrics all about. So if you're in this video, you should at least know what Swans is. It's just an American rock band formed in the late 70s by this guy called Michael Gira. And Michael Gira has an interesting history according to him. He has like self-mythologized a lot. We don't know a lot about his family. His father worked for some company that apparently was subcontracted by the United States military, so that's pretty interesting for our purposes here. Anyhow, so he formed this band called Swans, and he went to New York and tried to make it in New York on the underground music scene, and before that he was in California, which we know is a big red flag. Anyhow, so what are Swans lyrics about? To understand this, you should know a little bit about Satanism and the Saturn myth, because obviously what Swans lyrics are all about is just a repetition of the themes of this Saturnian cult. So what is the Saturnian cult, or what is so it's the worshipping of Saturn, and the worshipping of Saturn involves child sacrifices. Anybody who has read any of the lyrics or paid attention to any of the lyrics of Swans, you can tell that Michael Gira is absolutely obsessed with killing children and eating children. And really, I don't know what how anybody who has it's not hidden. He says so outright. He has a song called Kill the Child. So I think you really have to be absolutely brainwashed or blind. Soundtracks for the blind is soundtracks for you if you cannot realize that this is all about child sacrifice and performing all these weird ceremonies for Satan. I mean, I don't understand how anybody can pay attention to anything in Swans, the lyrics, the pictures, and not see it. Anyhow, so what is what is this Saturn cult thing? I'm just gonna read from Saturn and the Occult. According to Masonic and occult symbols illustrated, Moloch or Molech, which we know is the god to which children are sacrificed, it's none other than a god with many names, one of which is Saturn. Quote, let's look at who Osiris is. He committed incest with his sister Isis, which resulted in the birth of Horus, the Egyptian god of the dead, as well as a sun god. Osiris is known by many other names in other countries. In Thrace in Greece, he is known as Dionysius, the god of pleasures and of partying and wine. Festivals held in Dionysius' honor often resulted in human sacrifices and orgiastic sexual rites. The Phoenicians know Osiris as Sabazius, where he is honored as a solar deity, a sun god, who was represented by horns, and his emblem was a serpent. In other places, he is known by other names: the Oius, the boy Jupiter, the centaur Orion, Saturn, the boy Plutus, Iswara, the winged one, Nimrod, Adoni, Hermes, Prometheus, Poseidon, Bootes, Dardanus, Himeros, Imbors, Iasiurus, Zeus, Iacchus, Hu, Thor, Serapis, Orsmouth, Apollo, Thamus, Attus, Hercules, Shiva, Moloch, and believe it or not, Baal. So Baal and Moloch, those are the deities to which children are sacrificed. From Burns, Masonic and occult symbols illustrated. So who was Kijun? I'm going to skip a little bit and read from Saturn in ancient times. The Greeks called it the god Helios. The Romans called it Sol. These familiar figures have a long history, and the more one learns about their links to the earlier cultures, the more a mystery of origins comes into focus. Long before Greek and Roman times, the Egyptians worshipped the luminary Atum or Ra, just as the Sumerians honored Utu and the Babylonians the god Shamash. Astronomers and priests celebrated this light of heaven as the universal monarch, the father of civilization, and the celestial prototype of kings. There is no mystery as to the present astronomical associations of these figures, but a more archaic traditions coming from many and diverse cultures identify the great sun gods with the motionless center of heaven, the celestial pole. They speak of a primeval sun, an exemplary or best sun, ruling before the present sun. So here we have the imagery of the sun. So what the swans use all the time, the imagery and the symbology of the sun. I am the sun, etc. The god's station was the summit of the world axis, from which he ultimately fell in a heaven-altering catastrophe. Perhaps the best-known story is the Greek account of Kronos, founder of the Golden Age, eventually driven from his seat at the top of the world by his son Zeus. To what body did these strange traditions refer? Today we take for granted that the ancient words we translate as Helios and Sol originated as references to the sun that illuminates our everyday. Let me just take some water. In many languages, the words for this axial figure did indeed become the words for the sun. But latter identity could not obscure the more archaic idea of a former stationary light at the pole, whose every feature defies any identification with the sun in our sky today. As strange as it may seem, early astronomical traditions identify the primeval sun as the planet Saturn, the distant planets which the alchemists called the best sun, and which the Babylonians, the founders of astronomy, identified as the exemplary light of heaven, the sun god Shamash. Shamash is the planet Saturn, the astronomical texts say. In archaic copies of Plato's Timaeus, the word for the planet Saturn is Helios, the sun god. In popular Greek traditions identified Saturn as Kronos, alter ego of Helios, and Kronos is said to have ruled over the pole. but only a handful of scholars have bothered to trace a parallel reference in other cultures or to address the unanswered questions. Worldwide drawings and symbols of the once dominant luminary show a disk with rays, a disk with spokes, a disk with a central orb or eye, a disk with a crescent upon it. Okay, that is enough for a little bit of background on the Saturn myth and its relation to ancient myths and ancient pagan mythology. As we can see, Saturn is associated with the sun, which is represented as a circle with a little dot in the middle or an orbit in the middle, or it's not an orbit, but a circle in the middle, a circle within a circle, or as a circle with an orbit around, or as a sun with rays, and it's associated also with the light of the heavens, and it's associated with the myth of Kronos, which, as we know, the myth of Kronos involves Father Time. So Kronos is the father of time, is the god of time, and he was eating his own children because he was told, according to the myth, in case you don't know this myth, that he was going to be succeeded by one of his children, so he ate them, and then something happens and Zeus was vomited and he survives or something, and then he becomes the next god. Okay, so now we skip to occult symbolism, Saturn worship. You might not know it, but the entire world has been worshipping Saturn for thousands of years. The cult never stopped, and its rites are still present to this day. Saturn, dubbed the Lord of the Rings, is the reason why we exchange rings at weddings or put halos on the heads of godly people. So the article is going to expose this. This is just things that I have said. So Semitic civilizations refer to the god Saturn as El. The supreme deity was represented by a black cube. We can find instances of the black cube across the world. So we have the black cube in Santa Ana, in Apple's 24/7 store in New York City, the Apple store in Fifth Avenue in New York City, in Manhattan, in Denmark, in Australia, a black cube in the forehead of this Jewish person, and the mystic cube in the Sagrada Familia Magic Square. So the Metatron cube, the Star of David, the Kali Yuga. These are just things that you can research on your own. Its relation to Freemasonry. What Freemasonry says about the closed and open cube. The stone cube opens into a cruciform shape to reveal hidden symbols. And this is also where some people trace the cross. So the cross is actually an unfolded cube. And now the article looks at Aleister Crowley, a known occultist and Freemason. And if you know anything about occultism, you know about Aleister Crowley. I'm kind of sick of this man, so I'm not going to talk about him, but he founded the Thelema Society, and if we read the Wikipedia, Thelema is a Western esoteric and occult social or spiritual philosophy and a new religious movement founded in the early 1900s by Aleister Crowley, 1875-1947, an English writer, mystic, occultist, and ceremonial magician. Central to the Thelema is the concept of discovering and following one's true will, a divine and individual purpose that transcends ordinary desires. Crowley's system begins with the Book of the Law, a text he maintained was dictated to him by a non-corporeal entity named I Was. This work outlines key principles, including the axiom, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, and love is the law, love under will, emphasizing personal freedom and pursuit of one's true path. So, the Thelemic cosmology, yes, features deities inspired by ancient Egyptian religion. The highest deity is Nuit, but the point is that one of their highest deities is Rahu-Kuit, who is believed to be a form of Horus, and we have seen that that is Saturn. And if we go to Comunitas Saturni, which is like a German version of the Telema Society, which is centered around Saturn, they say, the Saturn gnosis implies that a man or a woman, as a microcosm, is a reflected image of the macrocosm. Humans therefore possess the complete creative potentiality of the universe. This is expressed in the sentence, every man and every woman is a star. Now it is necessary to evolve this powerful and mighty potentiality within and to find the own true will. This is expressed in the law of Thelema, which goes, do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. There is no law but do what thou wilt. In the past ages, quite a few people were able to perceive and to follow that, but there is a collective interest in the age of Aquarius that will enable more people to translate the law of Thelema into action. Okay, so what we need to know for our purposes was also how the law involves that if there is love, everything is allowed, because love is, as long as there is love, everything is allowed, and that is a theme that also appears consistently in the lyrics of Swans. And as we saw, it's like inspired by everybody is a star, everybody has full capacity to take ownership of their own divine light and divine spark. And of course the divine spark the divine spark theme goes back to the Kabbalah. So now that we have this necessary background, or this very basic background, we can go and examine Swans. We can see, of course, the lyrics. As I said, I am the sun, I am the sun, I rise above the world, and when the light goes out, I kill another child, and I am insane, I crawl into your mouth. I grow like a flower, I grow a suicide, and I am the sun, I love everyone, and I am the light, I love everyone, and I am the sun, I love everyone. Yeah, I am the light, I love everyone. So that's pretty clearly related to the interpretative scheme that I have proposed. Red, yellow, okay, to understand these lyrics, we need to see what red and yellow mean for the Saturn cult. So red, yellow. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, to make explicit a little bit more of the relationship with Satanism, so maybe I should do that now. So back to our article on Saturn and the occult, Saturn and Satan. Saturn has also been associated with Satan, and this for numerous reasons. First, many authors argue that the word Satan is derived from the word Saturn. Second, Saturn is associated with the color black as well as Satan. Third, ancients considered Saturn to be the farthest planet from the sun, the latter being associated with the principle of good. Not that Pluto never was considered a planet. Saturn is consequently the celestial body that is less exposed to the sun's divine light, and thus associated with the coldest of the principle of evil. Finally, the great good god Pan, the horned deity, represented Saturn in ancient paganism. This half-man, half-goat creature is considered the ancestor of our modern depictions of Satan. So from Manly P. Holt's Secret Teachings of All Ages, Pan was a composite creature, the upper part, with the exception of his horns, being human, and the lower part in the form of a goat. The pipes of Pan signify the natural harmony of the spheres, and the god himself is a symbol of Saturn because the planet is enthroned in Capricorn, whose emblem is a goat. So Pan was depicted with horns due to the fact it represented Saturn, the ruler of the house of Capricorn, which symbol is a goat. Capricorn, symbol of the goat, rising from the body of Pan, was the controlling spirit of the lower worlds. He was portrayed roaming through the forest, penis erect, drunk and lascivious, frolicking with nymphs and piping his way through the wild. We might say he ruled the lower nature of man, its animal side, not unlike Satan. Despite acknowledging its association with evil, secret societies find the veneration of Saturn necessary to obtain illumination. It is the necessary counterpart of the principle of good. Masonic authors clearly associate Saturn with Satan. This is from J.S. Ward, Freemasonry and the Ancient Gods, quote, Saturn is the opposite to Jupiter. His symbol is a cross above the sign of Luna. Saturn is the opposite to Jupiter. His symbol is a cross above the sign of Luna. He is the Satan, the tempter, or rather the tester. His function is to chastise and tame the unruly passions in the primitive man. Probably the most extreme example of a secret society worshipping Saturn's evil principle is the Fraternitas Saturni. So it's what I was already telling you about. This occult organization is based in Germany and openly embodies the hidden side of Saturn worship. The Fraternitas Saturni, FS, the Brotherhood of Saturn, has become known to English readers through fragmentary descriptions which emphasize the sensational sex-magical aspects of this lodge's work, or else its darker, more satanic side. And just as a side note, Michael Gira has openly admitted to practice sex magic or tantric sex magic in an interview with the OTO, with some representative of the OTO. You can just Google it, like OTO or Thelema Society, Michael Gira interview, and at some point in that interview he openly admits to practicing tantric sex. So, I mean, the connections are all there to see for anybody who's interested. This is understandable so back to the description of the Fraternitas Saturni. This is understandable in light of the fact that the FS is or was the most unabashedly Luciferian organization in the modern Western occult revival, and its practice of sexual occultism perhaps the most elaborately detailed of any such lodge. The FS represents a unique blend of astrological cosmology, neo-Gnostic demonology, sexual occultism, and Freemasonic organizational principles. This grand synthesis was originally the vision of one man, the longtime Grand Master of the FS, Gregor A. Gregorius. So that's from Stephen E. Flowers' Fire and Ice, the history, structure, and rituals of Germany's most influential modern magical order, the Brotherhood of Saturn. And if the Fire and Ice, of course, also is very important for Saturn symbology. And what do we see when we go and examine swans and their constant themes? We constantly see fire and ice too, especially fire. You just gotta look, for example, at the cover of Love of Life, the cover of White Light from the Mouth of Infinity. So White Light, we have seen that light is associated with the Saturn cult, but this whole imagery, this whole picture is very reminiscent of child sacrifice. We have the carrot that looks like a phallus, and the bunny just looks like a child, and in the image of Love of Life, they have their heads burnt. And if you know the music video to Love of Life, there's just so much child sacrifice there and so much ritual stuff going on in that video. So this allows us to read the lyrics to I Am the Sun and understand them. We have I am insane, I crawl into your mound, I grow like a flower, I grow as suicide, and I am the sun, I love everyone. Why love? Because love allows you to do anything. We saw do as shall will shall be the whole of the law, and everything is allowed as long as there is love. So of course they're obsessed with babies. You just gotta see the cover of To Be Kind. That's a bunch of babies. And the angels of light. Well, what are the angels of light? Who is the angel of light? The angel of light is Satan. The lyrics of Hypo Girl, can I steal your mind and can I crawl down inside? And when I am your child, can I feed in your eye and can I drink the air down in your cold black lung? And I breathe the sweet, sick and lonesome blood. Love is everywhere. No, we will never escape. I love you more than my life. No, we will never escape. So that is about ritual. And this is another of the lyrics. In a scream, there's a tear, there's a stab on a slab. Now the future, it's a past. Here's a reference to time. So Chronos, Saturn. It is shrinking, it is fast. There is a mind, there is a hive, there is life, there is not. So there's a life and then there is not. Why? Because they killed it. Why? Because it sacrificed to Saturn. There's a name I forgot. There's a breath, not a thought. There's a lake, there's a snake, there's a knife giving life. Why the knife giving life? Because it's giving life to Saturn through sacrifice. And here's an image of one of the beautiful artwork that is contained in the Love of Life video. Helpless child, now you be the mother and I'll be your fool. Sorry, that song is really, it's pretty cool actually. And cool, of course, referring to cold, which refers to the coldness of the planet that is furthest away from the good, which is Saturn. I'll hide myself deep inside your crimson pool. Now you be the stranger and I'll be the white-skinned sun. You'll blacken my innocence with sugar and opium. And then the children were suffocated down in your damp cave. Why? Because a lot of children sacrifices are practiced in caves. And you were the mother. Mother is also another way of speaking of Lucifer. And that was the sleeping slave. So a lot of Swans lyrics are actually intended from the standpoint of the child being sacrificed, of the person that is going to be passively sacrificed within the ritual. Of course, a lot of other ones are, especially the ones that are like, I kill children, I love killing children, I love eating babies, etc. Those are from the standpoint of the perpetrator, from the standpoint of the person perfecting the ritual of sacrificial death and eating children. So mother's milk, I already said that mother is Lucifer. And I'll sleep in the sea and I'll wait there beneath the mud and forget dreams and disease. And what's the secret? I'll drain from your soul. And sweet is the sugar I'll drink from your skull. And where is the wound that shines the blue light? And who is the dead mind my body made love to last night? And I'll sleep in the sea and I'll wait beneath the mud and forgotten dreams and disease. And what's the secret? I'll drain from your soul. And sweet is the sugar I'll drink from your skull. If you look at the images, we have a lot of circles. Why? Because the circle is Saturn, as we saw. So now we should also get into the snake, because the snake imagery is very persistent in Swans. Besides, the circle, the sun, the killing of children, the fire. So all these things that are very clearly pointing towards this Saturn cult and Luciferianism. This is from the book The Saturn Myth by David Talbot. So the circular serpent, it would be quite impossible within the limited space permitted here to review all the interconnections unifying the image of the Saturnian band. For every instance previously cited, many others have been left out simply to avoid excessive monotony. As a final example of overlapping imagery, I shall cite the case of the circular serpent. All of the Saturnian gods, Atum Re, An, Yama, Huang Ti, Quetzalcoatl, Kronos, reside within the fold of a serpent, dragon, fish, crocodile, etc. But this symbol cannot be evaluated in isolation from the celestial earths, eggs, wheels, temples, crowns, and eyes, which fulfill the ancient lexicon. In the general mystic tradition, reports Sirlot, quote, the dragon, the serpent, or the fish biting its tail is a representative of time. Father Time, of course, it's Saturn. Thus, the Greeks placed in the hands of Kronos a snake which formed a ring by holding its tail in its mouth, and this circular serpent is clearly that which the Hindus called Kali time. The Zoroastrians represented Turban time by enclosing a serpent inside encircles a Nahuatl calendar wheel of time, published by Clavijero. One of the most famous Mexican calendar stone twin serpents form a circle enclosure around the stones. The Egyptians associated the circular serpent with Atum, god of time, identifying the serpent with the cosmic waters erupting from the creator. I am the outflow of the primeval flood, he who emerged from the waters, the serpent announced. Okay. So, for if the serpent denoted the band of the enclosed song, This direct identification of the serpent and the circle of the Aten enables us to test the coherence of Aten symbolism as a whole, so the circle within a circle. For if the serpent denoted the band of the enclosed song, one should find that the serpent was the circle of the mother goddess and define the limits of the all, i.e. the cord, egg, shield, or bent of Saturn's cosmos. And here I create a parenthesis to point out all the birthing imagery in swans and mother birthing. That the serpent enclosed the world, wheel, city, throne, earth, navel, and celestial ocean. That the same serpent formed the wall of the cosmic temple, encircled the god king as crown, enclosed the celestial waters as a vase, and defined the circle of the all-seeing eye. Throughout all of ancient Egypt, the circular serpent was a symbol of the Great Mother. Blah, blah, blah. It is the same thing to say that the circular serpent enclosed Saturn's cosmos. In the Egyptian language, the coil, and if you know your obscure bands, coil is the band of Peter Christopherson and what's the name of the other guy? I forgot, but they're the two like children, let's just say that. They really, really like children. Formed by the serpent, they like boys. They really like boys. Formed by the serpent is literally the cord or the band indicated by the hieroglyph. And here's a hieroglyph and another one, which is a spiral. And of course, we also see lots of spirals in swans. The serpent itself was the rope which the creator stretched round about, gathering the primeval waters or primeval matter into an organized enclosure. And there we have here an image of the circular dragon in Jaropolo, Selecta Hieroglyphica, 1957, and the famous Urobro, the alchemist circular dragon, Mexican circular serpent biting its tail, circular serpent motif of the interior of a food basin from Sikyatki in the southwestern United States, two Chinese versions of the circular dragon. The dragon encloses the central sun, Hindu circular serpent enclosing the Vindu or central sun. In Sumero-Babylonian imagery too, a circular serpent called the rope of the great god encloses the original cosmos. The serpent rope is the bond of the old, held by Enki or Ninurta, Saturn. So I hope that now that you have all these elements, that should give you a pretty good clue of what Swans is all about. It's all about the Saturnian cult, which involves the sacrifice in the altar to the god, which is Saturn, which is Baal, which is Moloch. And I hope that it will help you in general as a interpretative scheme, and you will see if you do your research, if you do research by yourself based on these cues that I have given you, and start reading some of the lyrics and see some of the imagery, that it will be a quite consistent form of interpretation, and it should clarify a lot of the doubts that people have in general regarding, oh my god, this is so mysterious, this is so, wow, this is so deep, I don't understand it. No, people, it's not deep and it's not mysterious, it's just satanic. That's it. So yeah, I hope everybody has a great day.
Satanic in a panic and I'm full of rage. Now I'm facing prison locked away up at an early age. So I grab and count my Glock and get my ass up on a creek. Niggas talking shit about my clique or buried CPD. Walk into the living room and call my roommates to the dean. Then I start to buck and lead them forth and shoot up all my friends. Now I'm lurking cautiously. I hope that Jesus calls and say, our eternal leader, evil pimp will be the devil's slave. See ya worse some devil shit, you must have been I fuck with this. See ya worse some devil shit, I'll put you bitches in a diss. See ya worse some devil shit, you must have been I fuck with this. See ya worse some devil shit, I'll put you bitches in a diss. See ya worse some devil shit, you must have been I fuck with this. See ya worse some devil shit, I'll put you bitches in a diss. See ya worse some devil shit, you must have been I fuck with this. See ya worse some devil shit, I'll put you bitches in a diss. Crescent moon up in the night and now the evil pimp appears. Families in a panic cause they're